Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm 12 Kyle. Listen, what we're going to do is we're going to take it back. Um, if you've been following the podcast, and most of you have been following the podcast because there were several people that heard the original podcast where we talked about the five mics in the source. And someone made the suggestion, say, hey, why don't you guys re-rank them and tell us where you think they would be ranked? So I was like, okay, we can do that. And so this one's for you. You clicked on the link. You know who's here. My man Eclectik is in the building. E, what up, man?
What's up, everybody? Thank you for having me on the show. It's Eclectik, aka Big Potty Kane, Al E. Shore, the fifth letter, Scrap E. Do.
Big Potty Kane.
Big Potty Kane.
You stupid, man.
Pod Biff DeVoe.
Oh man, glad to have you back on, man. Always good to have you in here to talk hip hop, man. Like I mentioned in the intro, like there were people that hit me up that wanted to hear us re-rank the five mics. What I'm talking about, in case you did miss that podcast, at the time of this recording, I think it was in the middle of last year. E and I talked. We got on the mics and talked about the original albums that were given five mics, and then we talked about where we would have them, and kind of we rescored them and everything like that. And actually, I mean, I rarely check the numbers, but when I checked the numbers, that was one of the highest rated podcasts that we had. So this guy seems to think the numbers go up when he shows up. So I play along. I let him think that. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it's going to sound when we re-rank these albums. Now, just for those of you who don't know, there was a thing called the Source magazine at one point in time, and the Source magazine was worldwide known as hip hop's Bible, if you will. And they had this ranking as far as how they would rank each albums that they would review in their magazine. And the magazine would rank them based on a scoring system. You'd have someone review the album, and then they would rank it, on a scale from 1 to 5. 1, totally whack. 2, needs help. If you got a 3, that meant it was good, worth checking out. If you had a 4, it was slamming, definite satisfaction. And if you got a 5, it was deemed a hip hop classic. Now, when the Source originally printed out, as far as their original 15, there were 15 albums that actually were scored 5 mics in the Source. So in essence, these were, by their definition, a perfect album. If you got a 5, you had a perfect album. So, and I'll read to you the list of albums that originally got 5 mics. Because what the Source did, and we talked about it on the last podcast, they went back and rescored some albums that they didn't get a chance to review, and they rescored some that they gave 4s and 4.5s, and it was just a bunch of mess. But I mean, that's another story for another day. And I'll read these in chronological order. People's Instinctive Travels in the Paths of Rhythm by A Tribe Called Quest, that came out in 1990. Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em by Eric B. and Rakim, also in 1990. AmeriKKKa's Most Wanted by Ice Cube in 1990. All for One, Brand Nubian in 1990. De La Soul is Dead in 1991. The Low End Theory from A Tribe Called Quest in 1991. 1994's Illmatic by Nas. 1997's Life After Death by the Notorious B.I.G. Aquemini from Outkast in 1998. Jay-Z's The Blueprint in 2001. Stillmatic by Nas in 2001. The Fix by Scarface in 2002. The Naked Truth by Lil Kim in 2005. Trilogy by Bun B in 2010. And last but not least, My Beautiful Twisted Dark Fantasy by Kanye West in 2010. Um, so that's the list. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna re-rank them. But before we do that, man, um, I gotta ask you this question. It's kind of a sidebar question, but I gotta ask.
Okay.
Um, when I look at some of these albums, not all of them, but for the most part, most of them, there aren't a lot of guest features on the album. And you know, we we're currently dealing with a generation of hip hop fans who are used to having um albums with a lot of guest features on it. If you had to pick, you know, how many guest features should you have on a five mic album? If Eclectic was scoring an album for a five mic album, what's the most guest features you would allow? And then after a while, you just like, all right, man, look, you can't get five mics because you got 15 dudes on this joint.
Well, the most you're saying the most. So the
Yeah,
most,
if it's up to you.
the most is gonna sound weird, but I'm gonna explain why I say it like this. The most is 5.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because one of the songs you got to feature your man's.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
whoever you
Whoever your
rhyme with.
man's is.
So yeah. So when you think when you think
Puff Makes Daddy.
Notorious, when you think of the Notorious B.I.G. first album, you had Method Man. When you
Okay.
think Jay-Z's first album, he had Biggie. When you think Illmatic, you had AC. So you got so you can have one shaman, and the other 4, because you said maximum, the 4 is for the last song, the posse cut.
Okay. Okay.
So if you got your peoples like the DLC's the last song or the symphony or so, the scenario. So
Scenario. Yep.
if you got something like that, the headbanger, then you can get that off. But they got to be dope. So that's the maximum. Now, traditionally, 1 because most people don't have 4 dope friends. So you know, because I miss the crew era when you had a crew and when you had to choose crew and they get busy, you know, and things like that. You had the Dev Squad and the Hit Squad, and then yeah, when you have a Wu-Tang, then yeah, you're gonna have 4 or 5 people on there.
Right. Right.
But you know, slow down, DJ Quick. We don't need to hear Shabby Blue rap. You know, that's fine. We're good. So that's what I mean.
Oh man, that's funny. Nah, I'm with you. That actually, when you said 5, I was like, wow, I didn't expect you to say 5, but then your explanation actually drives the point home. So I understand and I appreciate that. Um, I'm gonna probably say 2 at the max because I'm tuning in and I want to hear you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not, I've always been kind of like, and I guess maybe it's because of the era that we came up in. Just to let you guys know, listening, E and I came up in an era where there wasn't a lot of guest features because, for one, you didn't want anybody to get on your album and outshine you, especially not anybody outside of your crew. So like you said, if the Juice Crew did something, okay, cool. But the Juice Crew wasn't going to do something and let LL get on and, and rhyme at the end of the album. That wasn't going to happen because he could steal your shine, or he could take your girl or both.
Also, what's very important to note, everyone that's listening, is in the 80s and early 90s, when you had a feature, it was just a feature. 9 times out of 10, it wasn't even on the cover. You would just listen. When EPMD made Rampage, he just said the song was Rampage. Right. And then when it came on, we heard LL. Facts. If you go back and look at the original pressings, and maybe the still pressings of Illmatic, it didn't say featuring AC. It just said Life's a Bitch.
That was it.
So what I'm trying to get across is before the features or the guest appearances were for a dope song or to make the album what the artist or the label wanted. Now it's marketing. Now it's whose album's out? All right, well, who's on it?
Mm-hmm.
Because before you didn't care who you bought it for the big name across the top. That's who you bought it for.
Facts.
So you wouldn't ask who's on it because you knew who's on it, the person you're buying. So I'm buying the Jay-Z album. Who's on it? Jay-Z. And so that's what you bought it for. Before, now tying it into what we're talking about, the source
Mm-hmm.
told us all the producers that was on Illmatic.
Mm-hmm.
The tape, the cassette, didn't list the producers on the front.
Nope.
Compared to now, oh no, this one's produced by such and such, and this is produced by a little water pistol, and it's marketing.
Yeah.
Like even the people that we like now say, oh, now we get the whole thing done by Hit Boy. I don't give a fuck about Hit Boy. I still don't like Hit Boy, but it's marketing now,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a lot different than what it used to be.
Yeah, man. And I think we saw that turn probably 97, 98, right around the end of the 90s. We started seeing more and more as far as the marketing promotion, the rollout, if you will, of albums. It became about who was on the album and who was producing the album. I mean, if I'm listening to if I want to hear DMX, I don't care who else is on the album. I'm not buying the album because Sheik is on there. Okay, you got Sheik and Jada. Okay, cool. Oh, you throw Styles in. Okay, that's cool. But I want to hear DMX, and that's a great point, man. I guess I'm a little spoiled like that. So that's how I prefer my hip hop. Now I understand that it's not like that anymore. So yeah, when you pick up the new album from your favorite artist, it's gonna have 7 or 8 features on it, and that's what people want. But it's my thing is at that point it's a compilation album. But I mean, I've said that time and time again, nobody listens. But and then you have an artist like J. Cole who did an album and he said, I'm doing this album with no features, and people lashed out at him. I'm like, it's his album. Why, if he doesn't want to have any guest features on it, what's wrong with that? But that is a great perspective. One other question before we get into the list. Are you cheating if you have the best producers on your album to make it a 5 mic album? And the reason why I'm asking that is because it's almost like the you'll appreciate this, the team up syndrome that we have in the NBA, in the current NBA. Like how LeBron is over here and he needs 2 other stars to team up with, so that's the way that he can win a championship. Or Kevin Durant's over here, he needs two other stars to team up with so that he can win over here. And the reason why I'm asking you that is because, like, if you're going to give an album a 5 mic rating and they've got Timbaland on it, they've got DJ Mustard, they've got Hit Boy, they've got Rockwild, if they've got, like, if it's 10 tracks and they've got 10 of the best producers in hip hop, I mean, are you cheating if you get a 5 mic album and you got the 5 best, if you got the best producers in the game on your album?
To me, no.
Okay.
It's not cheating for multiple reasons, but the reasons I'll give you right now is, one, personally, I don't listen for beats.
Okay.
I don't listen for production. I listen for lyrics. So I can consider a cappella album a classic personally.
Gotcha.
2, just because the beats are produced by these people, one, it doesn't mean that it's their best beats. 2, you still got a rhyme on top of them. So if you give the MC Candyman the track to New York State of Mind, it might not be it might not be New York State of Mind when it's
Might,
all said and done.
might
And
you
listen,
think might?
listen, I don't know where his pen is at right now. I'm just saying that it might not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you give um Queen Pen
Oh shit.
fucking protect your neck track. It might not be protect your neck. So just because you have the producer, no, it's not a cheat code because you still got to put the song together. You still got to arrange it and it still got to be written dope.
That is a great point, man. I'm with you. I don't think it's cheating. The reason why I asked that question is because I did have a conversation. It had to be a couple months back. Ironically, we were talking about Illmatic and it was written. And, I, much like you, I try not to get into a lot of back and forth on Twitter with people about hip hop in particular. And this particular day I had time. So, the young buck said, he made mention of, it was written being better than Illmatic. And then he made a comment about the fact that Illmatic was only dope because Nas had some of the greatest hip hop producers of all time. He had Pete Rock, he had Primo, he had uh, Large
LES.
Professor, LES, all of these people, Q-Tip, and he was like, basically saying he LeBron'd it. He teamed up and and I'm like, nah, did you ever like listen to the album? And much like you, I don't listen to albums or songs for beats. I'm very intrigued about what they have to say. Can you say something that'll move me and catch me?
Now see, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is this. If um if Nas dropped Illmatic
Mm-hmm.
and he quote LeBron'd it, what that album would have been was New York State of Mind featuring Method Man. Life's a Bitch featuring AZ.
Mm-hmm.
The World Is Yours featuring Notorious B.I.G. Halftime featuring Jay-Z. Then Memory Lane, One Love, One Time for Your Mind featuring EPMD, Represent featuring Ice Cube, and It Ain't Hard to Tell with the Juice Crew All Stars. Now that would have been LeBron in it.
Right. Yeah, you just put everybody on.
Yeah. Because let the record show he made an album a few years later called The Firm, produced almost exclusively by what people say is the greatest producer of all time, which is really a shit bag, and people hated it.
I didn't hate it.
No. When it came out, people
Oh, okay.
hated it. And
Yeah,
retrospect,
yeah.
no, it's okay. But when it came out, people was like, oh, yeah, I don't know if he should have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So the producer matters, but then it don't. The other reason why producers matter and then it don't, a lot of people was like, who's Hit Boy? But they love all the shit.
Mm-hmm,
Just because you
mm-hmm.
don't have to. At some point, the producers are nobody.
Yeah.
So like when Coogee Rap made Wanted Dead or Alive, the reason why Wanted Dead or Alive came out so dope, like they had the whole thing with Warner Brothers and the Juice Crew wasn't Juice Crewing no more, and Marley Marl wasn't doing production, and they just found this new dude called Large Professor.
Mm-hmm.
That nobody know who he was.
You
know what I mean? So you never know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally, man. It's I don't consider it to be cheating. I think it's all relative because, like you said, at the end of the day, the producer is a name. Yeah, they're doing the work, but ultimately you're going to listen to the song because of what they're saying. At least for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm going to be listening to the song for what they said. Now, yeah, okay, if Dre gives you a dope beat, if Primo gives you a dope beat, yeah, I'm going to bob my head, and the beat will probably factor into my decision on the song after 2 or 3 listens. But initially, no, I'm listening for the words. I'm listening
Yeah.
for the lyrics.
If you swap out on the College Dropout all of Kanye's words and switch them with Too Short's words, you're probably not gonna like the College Dropout as much. And we like Too Short, but let's be realistic here.
Yeah. Facts. It
That's
would
all it,
sound totally different.
that's all it is. So
A
you can't
bunch
be
of
like, oh,
bitch.
he had the Kanye production. Yeah, now listen to it.
Right.
So
Man, that is so dope. That's a great point. That is a great point. Um, so yeah, if we're gonna rank these original 15 5 mic, I think we probably should go back and forth.
we're legitimately ranking them 15-1, or we
Mhm.
redoing the mics.
No. Because we've redone the mics, but what I
Okay.
want to do is just re-rank them. If you think Bun B's Trill album is the fifth best 5 mic
Okay.
album
All right.
ever, then
All right. All right.
and
All right.
then
I'm
we
with it.
rolling.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
But yeah. So I gave you all the list, and we'll like I said, we'll go back and forth. So I'll go ahead and kick it off. Um, at number 15, I've got The Naked Truth by Lil Kim.
Match.
Full disclosure, I've only heard this album once, and it's not a 5 mic album. It's not even a no.
I
It
haven't
might
done
be.
it too.
Oh, word! Wow. I was gonna say 3.
I haven't done it too.
So we're close. We're close. Okay, so I don't feel bad about the 3. You got it at 2. So
You
it's
had it
probably
at good, worth checking out.
it's okay, man. It's not
That means 2 needs help.
okay. Well, you know what? Okay, you're right. Let me put it at 2 then.
It needs big.
Yeah, man. It's not. It's and we know. If you know, you know. The source at that particular time, they were scrambling. I mean, a lot of stuff was going on. Benzino was beefing with people and stuff, and it's no knock on Kim. I think Kim is dope. Kim is Kim, but I mean, Kim ain't been the same since Big left. Lyrically, I should say, and so yeah, I sat through that album. I physically forced myself to sit through listening to that album, and I was like, yeah, I'm not listening to this again. And so it's a 2. So I don't even agree that it's a 5 mic. So, but yeah, it's at 15.
And when did that come out?
That was 2010, I think. 2005. 2005. Wow, September 27th, 2005.
And that was a 5 mic, huh? And that was the same year Late Registration came out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And we were outside then.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So I don't. And
that's the same year the Minstrel Show came out,
which could have gotten a 5 mic album.
All right.
That's a great pull. Great pull. All right. So you said match. All right. So what you got at 14?
I got Yay.
Ooh.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Listen, I understand people really enjoy the Ye, and some people say that this is his best album.
I know.
Some people say that this is his best album. Some people say this is one of the greatest hip hop albums ever created, and I say All the Lights.
All of the lights.
Lost in the World. Okay, that's cool.
I don't even remember that song. Oh Lord.
Saying that people love the Monsterverse.
Yeah.
But that don't do it. That don't do it for me, man. Why are you putting Kid Cudi and Raekwon on the song together? Listen,
RZA would never.
RZA didn't. So I got this at a 2.5.
I think it's a good album. Well, I'll talk about it when because I don't have it at 14.
Wow.
At 14, I've got One for All, Brand Nubian.
Oh, wow.
Um, I like this album. I don't love this album. Um, I don't think it's a 5 mic album. I think it's probably a 3. Uh, but this album, and the thing that I found interesting about this E was that this album came out December 4th, 1990.
Okay, look at
And
you, almanac.
yeah, man, I do my work. But what was interesting was in 1990, 4 albums get 5 mics in 1990. I don't think there was any other year that got, that many 5 mic albums. I don't know, man. It sounds and feels to me like they may have reached on that one. I don't know if they were necessarily trying to get, because back then getting 5 mics was big shit. Like I can't express that enough, especially for those of you who weren't around. When people got wind of the fact that an album might get 5 mics, they would call the source and put in a bomb threat, literally. Like they would threaten to beat, because 5 mic meant that the album was perfect. Like you know how like nowadays you listen to people and this is a classic. And we've talked about it before on other podcasts, and it's worth repeating. The word classic gets thrown around way too much in hip hop. Probably should call some of these albums your favorite albums. Because there's a difference between favorite and classic, but that's another podcast for another day. But that might have just, in my opinion, One for All might have been a throw in as far as them just, it was the end of the year. Hey, let's just give them 5 mics, because it's not a 5 mic album. I went back and listened to it. It's a 3. I think it's a 3. It's a strong 3, but it's not a, and I like Brand Nubian. I mean, shout out to Pooh Bah Maxwell. But nah, man, it's not a 5 mic album. It's not. So yeah, that's what I have at 14.
13, I have Trilogy. Bun B. I have that as a 2.5. I'm gonna tell you what I did.
Okay.
I went through the 15, then placed what mic rating I would give to them, and then ranked them based on that.
Okay, that's fair.
So I started with a 2 with The Naked Truth. 2.5 is Twisted Fantasy. Now 2.5 was also Trilogy, but I like Trilogy more than Twisted Fantasy. So a lot of the album is okay, but then some of the album is just no, never, and so I can't with that. We can't do that.
Okay. I think at 13 I've got Twisted Dark Fantasy.
All right.
Yeah, I tried, man. I really tried. And shout out to my boy Matt B. Matt and I have talked about this album before, and I remember Matt hit me up one day. He was like, "Man, we should do a review." I was like, "No, we're not doing a review on this," because I don't understand what people see in this album. I just don't. And I understand opinions. Everybody has their own opinion. But when people tell you that this is Kanye's best album, I don't see it. I mean, me and you agreed, like his albums ranked just as they came out, 1, 2, 3. First album was the best album. Second album was the best album. Second best album. Third album was the best. Third best album. I don't know what y'all. I'm honest. I mean, hit me up. I don't care. We can talk about it for 2 tweets. I'll give you 2 tweets. I don't know what people see in this. It's not a good album. People got crazy over the Monster verse, and Kanye's verse ain't even the best verse on the Monster verse. So I mean, like, if you don't even have the best verse on the song that everybody says is the best song on the album, then what are we doing? What are we talking about? So nah, I got it at 13. I think I probably give it a 3. And I don't think this album has aged well either. The more and more I've listened to it, or at least gone back and made attempts to listen to it, it sounded worse than I remembered. So, I don't know what was happening in 2010. I know we were outside in 2010. I was in Minneapolis in 2010. So yeah,
Oh shit.
there wasn't shit going on. This and I only say that because I'm trying to think like what was I doing? Maybe I missed something. I didn't miss anything. I was in the music stores in 2010 in Minneapolis. Shout out to Electric Fetus. Nah, I'm not. Nah, this is a 3 mic album. Definitely not a 5. All right, so what you got at 12?
Well, I got a 12 outside of Skew It on the Barbie.
I knew this was coming.
Yeah, I don't know what else I'm really fucking with. This is Aquemini by the group Outkast.
Mm-hmm.
I also have at a 2.5.
Mm.
Listen, even in preparation for this recording, I listened to it.
Okay.
I say, you know what? Hold on. Because sometimes I'm bugging.
Right.
I'm like, and then sometimes things get better with time. Sometimes you hear something, you might not have been in the right mood, and then you hear it again in a better mood. And you're like, you know what? It wasn't so. No, not this one. I can't. No, I can't.
Okay.
I can't.
Hey, well, man, I give you props. Anytime you tell me that you've listened to an Outkast album, I give you props, man, because you always said as long as I've known you, you've been consistent with it. And it's not hate. You just say, hey, they don't make music for me. I can respect that.
I can't relate. It's like you could play me the dopest gospel song, and I'm like, I don't know. Is KRS One coming? I don't know.
Well, you know you down with Andre Crouch now.
It's a dope name though.
But I feel you. Again, I give you props for even listening, man. I give you props for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just took his number 3 and put it down at what, 12 or 13. But go
ahead. 12, I got Bun B's Trilogy. If I'm not mistaken, this is a double album. I'm hard on double albums. He should have made this a single. Like you said, most of it's dope. He's got quite a few filler tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So I give it a 3. I don't know how Bun got in it. And again, it's no disrespect to Bun because I'm a fan of Bun B.
He got it because his man was in jail.
Was that? Oh, that was 2010 too. I don't know how. This is not a 5.
That was the sympathy ranking.
Must have been because this is not a 5 mic album. If you cut it from a double album to a single, nah. Because I'm thinking about the tracks. Like, there's no way I can put this album put this album and sequence it together with the tracks we have. Even if I say, okay, you know what, E, give me the best 10 tracks from this album, I still don't think I have a 5 mic album.
Nah, it was because Pimp C died in 2007.
Yeah.
And so then this came out. They was trying to, they're like, oh man, all right. They felt for him.
Wow. What you got at 11?
Oh,
we're gonna have one. We're gonna have a couple of these probably.
I mean, most of our bottom ones are the same, except for Aquemini.
Yeah.
What do you want from me?
My top 5.
I know. I might about to hit another one of your top 5. I got The Fix. Scarface. I got that as a 3 though. So
okay, moving up.
We're moving up. I got that as a good, worth checking out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you would have asked me before, it probably would have been a 2 or 2.5. But in preparation for this recording, I threw it. And I was like, some of this is all right.
Mm-hmm.
So you got what's the joint? That's the joint. Everybody likes Guess Who's Back?
Yeah,
Jay-Z and the people. My Block, people love My Block. The In Between Us with Nas. So I was like, you know what? You got some Neptunes on there, Faith Evans. So some of it, and then you got some get heaven out of here and say shut up.
Yeah, I ain't like
You know,
heaven.
but yeah, Scarface ain't shit though because he got like 3-4 Kanye West tracks and he shitted on them in that document.
Which documentary? The Kanye documentary?
Yeah, man.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
Check it out,
he asked him to do the hook on Jesus Walks before it came out, and he played it for him in the studio, and he was like, nah.
But, hey man, nobody would fuck with Jesus Walks, man.
It turned out to be huge.
Yeah, you're right.
This before it ever came out, nobody had heard it.
And you can imagine Kanye coming in the studio all hyped up on this.
No, you see it. He actually, no, you'll see it. You'll see it when you watch it.
I definitely gotta watch that. I definitely gotta watch that documentary. Now that's a good one. That's a good one. Where we at 11? I got People's Instinctive Travels in the Paths of Rhythm, A Tribe Called Quest. I still like this album. I think this album probably slid further down for me because I like their subsequent albums even more.
Those two?
Yeah. Because according to you, they stopped after the third album. Which, on a side note, it just dawned on me. We did a podcast on the best sophomore albums. Neither one of us mentioned Low End Theory on the sophomore album. I just realized that.
We'll get to it.
Huh?
We'll get to it.
I mean, date rape just really just kind of.
What do you want, man?
But you know what? On another side note, your man's, my son Cameron, I bought him. He's into vinyl now, so I bought him Midnight Marauders, and he went and bought Low End Theory. He's like, Dad, this Low End Theory is crazy. And I was like, yeah, it sounds dope on record, right? He's like, yeah. He's like, man, I'm just saying. He's like, why you ain't tell me about this one? You got me the other one. I was like, because Midnight Marauders is better, son. I was like, you need to play it.
See, the thing about Midnight Marauders and Low End Theory, the highs on Low End Theory is better than the highs on Midnight Marauders.
You think so?
But Midnight Marauders as a whole, as a project, is killing Low End Theory.
I think so too.
Yeah. No, but check the rhyme and jazz. The highs, are ridiculous.
Yeah, high.
But then it's like, all right, man.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I got People's Instinctive. I got that at 11. I'm still giving this a 4. I don't take nothing away from this. I think it's still a 4. I think when you talk about some of the songs and skits and everything, and you conceptualize it when the time in which it came out, yeah, I'm still giving it a 4. I'm always gonna be impartial to El Segundo. You did on your countdown, that song made your countdown, which I thought was dope. I was wondering where it was going to end up on your list.
Hilarious song when you break it down.
When you break it down, and it's funny, man, because it's like as I was listening to you talk about it, I was like, we never really thought about none of this shit.
Exactly. When you break it down, like, oh, so you drove from Queens to California on one tank of gas. and then stopped to do nothing. All right, man. And then just turned around and went right back.
Yeah, turned around and went right back.
The same day. All right.
And I mean, like, we never questioned, like, how is that even possible? You didn't stop to get nothing to eat. You didn't stop to take no pictures. Man. You didn't spend the night.
They didn't even know what. They didn't even know though. They just said, "Oh shit, where?"
Oh.
Then Jerome then went back because he left his wallet.
So make sure y'all check out E's podcast. He's breaking down. What do you call it? It's the top 50.
Top 50 story rhymes. It's 80s and early 90s. I didn't get too far. You're not gonna hear Stan or nothing on my on my joint. So it's
Yeah,
just
fuck Stan.
well, listen.
That song got old real quick.
Hey, he turned it into
He
a
did, but come
word.
on, man. That song got old. I mean, think about it like this. And okay, so let's sidebar real quick.
Mm,
Personally,
mhm.
I can only listen to an Eminem album. Once you listen to his album, like his albums have no replay value for me.
Well, I wouldn't know because I have never listened to an Eminem album on purpose.
Okay, so we can continue.
So I can't confirm or deny.
Man, I said that to somebody. It was Matt. I was talking to Matt B, and Matt was like, "Man," he's like, you don't listen to him again?" I was like, "No." I was like, I'm never listening to the Marshall Mathers project again. Never. And I'm not saying it's a bad album. It's just there's nothing in it for me to go back and listen to it.
Eminem he's a really good lyricist, but he's like a really rich slice of cake or like fresh cookies. Like you look at him, you smell him, you like, and as soon as you have like 5, maybe 4 cookies, like, all right, I'm good.
I don't need no more.
They were great though.
Right, right,
This
right.
was it.
It
This
was
slice of
good for what
cake,
it was.
you killed this slice of cake, but nah, I can't have no more of that.
No
Ever.
doubt. No doubt. Ever. What you got at 10?
Oh, I had People's Instinctive.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
had People's
Okay. So I
Instinctive.
wasn't that far off.
No. I'm telling you, except for your boys, our bottom 5 are the same. Or the bottom 6.
What would you if you're gonna give this a mic, what would you give this one?
Oh no, I got that at 3.
Okay.
I got a mic for everyone I got. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. At 10, I've got Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em by Eric B and Rakim.
Match.
Yeah, it's this one it still bangs though, man. Damn, this shit still bangs. Um I couldn't really find a place. I kind of teetered between 9 and 10 for this one, but I couldn't really find a reason to put it any higher than I did. I think it's a 4 mic album. This one came out, let's see, Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, June 19th, 1990.
Okay.
So we were outside. I was in high school. Yeah. Oh, I remember it. I can't talk about that, but to get myself in trouble. So yeah, that this is I think it's a dope album. It's still a lot of great replay value. I mean, it's Arabian, it's the guy. Come on, man.
See, I don't think it's a dope album. I got it as a 3. The reason why it's up so high is because Rakim rhymes better than everybody. But most of the production is shit to me. But the highs, Mahogany,
Yes,
In the Ghetto, Untouchables, No Omega. But he went he did a lot of fast rhyming on this one. I don't like Rakim with the fast rhyming.
okay.
It gets to kind of, it's like, all right, man. So I think,
But have you ever heard somebody other than Rashawn Jamal knock him for rhyming over slow beats?
I've never heard.
Because when we used to do the podcast on the old radio show back in the 2010, I remember Rashawn saying that. I was like, I never really paid attention to whether or not Rakim was rhyming over fast beats or slow beats, but he was like, that was his knock on Rakim.
Nah, I like the slow flow. I like Rakim when he like nah, and that's what I'm saying. This when he like, all right, man, slow down, man. Like microphone fiend and to the listeners and the R and stuff like that. Like, yeah, the fastest I want is follow the leader. But this
Okay.
And then don't sweat the technique. Jesus. But anyway,
Oh
so
my
now
gosh.
I had
I hated that album.
well, see, I think his albums go in order. His albums go in order.
Okay.
Just like Kanye.
Yeah.
And because of this, and because of the smaller sample size of super dope stuff, that's why I don't put him as the greatest rapper of all time. I put him as the greatest lyricist of all time. But I can't put him as the overall everything because he don't have the overall shit. But
Okay, fair
anyway,
enough. Fair
so
enough.
that's what I got at that number.
Okay, okay. What about 9?
That's where I have One for All, Brand Nubian.
Oh, okay, okay.
I love this album.
Mm-hmm.
Brand new. Oh man, the wake up, the reprise, and the stimulated, dope. Grand
Mm-hmm.
Pooba, Positive, and LG. Nobody can beat you with Slave. Who can get busy like this man? Oh, it's so dope and problematic because Grand Pooba, and I have a episode on the podcast Encyclopedia Hip Hop talking about Grand Pooba.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go check it out. But Grand Pooba had a group before Brand Nubian called Masters of Ceremony.
Yep.
Masters of Ceremony broke up. Grand Pooba got a deal. He put on Sadat X, Derek X on the flex, and Lord Jamal. While they were recording the album, when Derek X and Lord Jamal wasn't there, he went in the studio and recorded songs for the album, brought in Positive K. That's why when you listen to the album, he has like 3 or 4 songs. It's just him.
Mm-hmm. Solo.
It's so great. But anyway, no, I think this album, I go back and listen to songs on this album, not the whole album, more than I go back and listen to songs on any of the albums below this.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
So
Wow. Wow.
so I'll listen to Drop the Bomb, All for One, um, Grand Pooba, Slow Down, obviously, the
Obviously.
Wake Up, more that it's more songs than Let the Rhythm Hit Them, and more songs than People Instinctive and the Fix It. So even if it's 5 to 3 on the other ones, I'll listen to more songs. So that's what broke the tie because I have this at 3 as well.
Okay. Makes sense. That makes sense. Um, like you said, dope album. Dope album. At 9, I've got Scarface's The Fix. Like I said, I went back and forth between this and Let the Rhythm Hit Him. I love this joint, man. I love this album. I think Scarface was in a great place when he made this album. His production and where he was lyrically. I was surprised. I think probably more so than any other album on this list. I was surprised at the time that it got a 5. And I think, and some of you may understand what I'm saying when I say this, I think when I listened to it, I convinced myself that it was a 5, but it really wasn't a 5. But it was so much backlash about him getting a 5 mic rating that I almost had to kind of, it's like, you listen to it long and you're like, oh yeah, you know what? I can see how they made this a 5, and it was almost like I distinctly remember, me and my friends talking about it, and like we were going at it with each other, like, man, how the fuck they get my 5 for this? Blah 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 blah. It was just like back and forth. And but no, it's not a 5 mic album. It's 4. It is a really dope album. But no, if you're talking about the best of the best, The Fix isn't there, but it's an incredible album. And it's one of, I think again, when you look at where Scarface was in his life and where he was, lyrically, he was this was his groove. He was in his sweet spot as far as rhyming was concerned. And I mean, stepping up the plate against guys like Jay-Z, Beanie, with the Kanye. I mean, like he was Scarface, vintage Scarface. It wasn't Ghetto Boy Scarface, but it was vintage Scarface. But nah, it's not a 5 mic album. But I had it at 9. Let's see where we at. 8. What you
Well,
got for 8?
I had the One for All later. I'm at 7 on mine.
Okay, so you're at 7. Okay. So I'll give you my 8. My 8, I had Stillmatic. Had Stillmatic. I love this album. I love this album. I don't think it's a 5 mic album. It's probably about 4.5. Because there's a couple of tracks at the end where I could have done without. You don't like the you don't like the Flyers. I love the Flyers.
Their flyers is garbage.
And I mean, we're both fans of the Nas AZ collabo. I mean, obviously, if you guys been listening,
That's really like a bad chocolate chip cookie. How do you have Nas and AZ on a song
but
by
hold up, E,
themselves?
you're talking to somebody who don't eat chocolate chip cookies.
Okay.
I don't eat chocolate. Not like that.
Okay. All right.
But I get your point. I get your point.
Yeah. It's like, how do you have those two and LES produce it?
What is it? Like, is it the hook?
It's like bad steak and fries.
Come on, man. Now, you know I love steak. I love steak. I love fries.
It's bad steak and fries.
That's pretty pitiful.
You see steak and fries on your plate. You sit down like, shit, it's steak and fries. You can never go wrong with steak and fries. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to have steak and fries. And you're like, the fuck is this?
I love that joint, man. Was it the hook for you? You ain't like the hook?
The hook sucks.
You ain't like the back and forth?
The hook sucks. The track is no good. And the hook really made it bad. But
okay.
And the track.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I've got it. I love that album, man. It's this is one of the joints I still play quite frequently. Like I said, I probably give it 4, maybe 4.5, but it's not a 5 mic album. But still an incredible album nonetheless. So that's what I have it at 8. You said you're at 7. What you got for 7?
For 7, I got Ola Jovito.
Okay.
I have the Blueprint. I've given the Blueprint a 3.5. When it came out, after I heard it the first time, and you would have stuck a microphone in my face, I was like, "Oh, it's a 5." It's an easy 5.
Right.
And it's because it was like 7 tracks since I heard Hola Jovito, so I forgot all about that, and I don't know, man. It's good, but it's not what it was when I heard it. I'm gonna tell you. Here's my thing with a lot of Jay-Z. A lot of Jay-Z songs. They are good to extremely dope the first time you hear them. Then as you hear them, they're not. His songs are like fads. Like when they hit, that's it. You don't need nothing else. You have those songs, you have those lyrics. That's what they are. And then later on, it's like, yo, I can't believe we was really on that. And then for nostalgia, later on, you're like, hey, you know what? Throw that on. I remember when, that wasn't. We used to. It's like I have a Cross Colors T-shirt now because it used to be the shit, but I'm never gonna wear it in earnest. Like you think I'm killing it. Right. I will wear it like, remember this. And people are like, yo, you still got one of those. I'm like, yeah, but I'm never gonna be like, yo. It's the same thing with this. It's like, Jigga that nigga. The first time I heard it, I'm like, oh, okay. Trackmaster's cool. And now I'm like, really?
Right. Yeah, man.
Even Heart of the City. I like, man, Heart of the City. Heart of the City is a dope song. But it's not, when you listen to Heart of the City now, it is not like when you heard it for the first time. Candy by LL Cool J. It's the same. When I hear it now, it's the same as when I heard it the first time. So that's all I'm saying.
Oh no, I feel you on that. I feel you on that one. 7. I got Life After Death, Biggie.
Oof.
Man, listen. It's about 5 songs too many from being perfect. And I've talked about it ad nauseum on this podcast and other podcasts. Hell, I think I talked about it on your podcast. No, I think when we talked about it when we did the drafts. Um, of course, I don't know that Biggie had anything to do with whether or not it was going to be a double CD or not. And I mentioned a little earlier, I'm hard on double CDs. It shouldn't have been a double CD. It should have been just a single. But you know, when you when you look at the best of the best from this album, it's incredible. I mean, the production, his lyrics. Um, you know, unfortunately, he wasn't here, you know, to see everything come to fruition. But incredible album. I probably give it now. I give it 4.5. I don't think it's a 5 because I mean, like some of those filler tracks are just um
You,
not
my
good.
friend, are the John Stockton of mic giving. You dishing out fours and 4.5s behind the back, between the legs,
Hey
around the
man,
neck. Jesus
it's around the
Christ.
neck. But yeah, I mean, like you take even a song like Notorious Thugs.
I do not like that song. That's a Jay-Z song.
I've
First
liked it.
time I heard it, I was like, yo. Now I'm like, man, get that shit out of here, man.
I've liked it less and less the more I've heard it.
See? It's a
When
Jay-Z
like when
song.
it first came out, I was like, "Yo, this is great," and it was like it was the nostalgia of Biggie rhyming like them, and I was like, "Well, damn, he ain't really had to rhyme like him. He could have just rhymed like himself."
Exactly.
So, but yeah, man, I still love that album. Yeah, I probably say 4.5. It's not a 5 mic album. Um, but you got it 6.
Um, I got the low end theory.
Mm.
I got the low end theory by a tribe called
We
Quest.
match. We match.
All right. And it's only the only reason, and I have that at a 3 and a hook. Um, and the reason why is because of the highs. Um, the um, so you got obviously check the rhyme,
Mm-hmm.
and you got jazz, and you got verses from the abstract, which is incredible. Butter and scenario,
Of course.
and it's like, man, I don't. Mm. Everything else, man, I'm good. I'm good. And I really wanted to put it lower, but it's like, I mean, I could have put the blueprint above it, but here's the reason why it's where it is. Because I will listen to those songs that I just said before I listen to any of the songs on Blueprint.
Mhm.
So I'd rather listen to Check the Rhyme before I listen to any song on Blueprint. I'd rather listen to jazz before any song on Blueprint. And so that's why I ranked it up there.
Mm. Yeah, like I said, I matched at 6. I think it's still dope. It's still dope. It's still, like you said, the highs are extremely high. Jazz and scenario, Butter, which is my favorite song on the album. Um, but when you get to date rape and
Sky Pager,
Sky
everything is fair.
in the city.
Songs like This Is Why I personally, and the Cité, This Is Why I personally will never put a Tribe Called Quest above De La Soul. They do not have a Cité in their discography.
Oh my gosh, man! Listen, I have to give myself I guess a little slack because that album came out September 24th, 1991. I was in college. I was a freshman in college that year, so I understand. I remember, and it's nostalgic, so I get it. I understand how and why I love the album as much as I do, and I still do love it, and I still give it 4 mics. Um,
Stockton, yo.
I still give it 4 mics.
Clear the lane.
But we already know my mic system and your mic system is gonna be different. Like you might give one album on this whole list 5 mics.
I literally only have one album on this list of 5 mics.
But yeah, it's you're right. The highs are highs. The city, I'm like
That's it. Hey.
But I mean, hey, I mean, I passed it on to my son. He loves the album now. So I mean, I guess I accomplished something as a father.
And tell him to do me a favor. Tell him to rank the songs that he liked from best to worst and send them to me.
He might like the sit tag.
I tell him I want to
I'm
know.
gonna tell him.
Just,
I'm gonna
yeah,
tell him.
just,
Matter of fact, I'm gonna text him as soon as we get off here. Okay, so where we at? We at 5.
I'm a 5. All right.
5. I got AmeriKKKa's Most Wanted, Ice Cube. I got that at 5.
Ice Cube would tell the children how the story should go.
Love this album. Still in the rotation. I give this one. I give this one 4.5, man. This is my shit.
Nah, man. Clear the lane, man. Here you come.
I'll throw it down your throat like Barkley. Yeah, man. This album still goes hard for me, man. I mentioned it when I did the review. Like, this is 1990 when it comes out, so we did not know what it was going to look like, what it's going to sound like, what it's going to feel like when it dropped May 16th of 1990. And Cube had left the world's most dangerous group, and we didn't know how his album was going to look and feel and sound. And I thought it was incredible, and I still bump it to this day. I mean, Once Upon a Time in the Projects, still my jam. I mean, like the only blemish, I guess, if I had I could have done without Man's World.
That's because he don't like women.
Hey, man, my wife is a woman. My daughter's a woman.
Listen, y'all. Just understand the theme every time we're on the show together.
This man swears I love women. I love.
I got 55 tracks on it. He picked the one that got a woman. Oh, I can do without that one.
And I can do without the bomb too. The bomb.
Don't try to go back there.
What you got at 5?
Stillmatic.
Okay.
I got 5 of Stillmatic. I mean, after Second Childhood, he could have kept the rest of the album, to tell you the truth. Rule with A. Marie was alright. But
that was okay.
But My Country, come on, man. What are we doing?
Was terrible. Was that a Trackmaster joint?
Nah, I don't even know if we heard of who did that. Had Millennium Thug on it. Nah, we're not doing that. My Country shitted on him.
I forgot about that song.
Every Ghetto, What Goes Around Now. Like the first half, like after Second Childhood, because you had after Second Childhood, you had Destroy and Rebuild, you had The Flyers, you had Rule, My Country. That second half was sewage. But the beginning, Ether, Got Yourself a Gun. All right, You're the Man is not really, but Rewind, of course you would. But Rewind and One Mic, Second Childhood, yes, the highs again. The highs was there. So that's why I got that at whatever number I just said. 5.
Yep, that's at 5.
Yeah.
All right, so I give you my 5.
He about to piss me off. I already know. Here it is. There you go. I didn't say anything the whole list, but I feel it.
4.
I feel it. I feel it right here. Go ahead.
Even the sun goes down. Heroes eventually die. Horoscopes often lie, and sometimes why? It's Aquemini.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Man. That's fine. It deserves to be much lower, but I'll accept that. At 5, he's got it at 5.
I got it at 4.
Oh,
yeah, man, that's my joint. I say this was close, man. It's like 4.5. Mamacita is awful. That's like Wait a
minute, Synthesizer's dope?
Yeah. Got George Clinton. Come on, man.
Oh,
I'm impressed that you even know the synthesizers on that album.
come on, man. I told you I just listened to it.
I know, that's what I'm saying, man. You getting there, man. I mean,
Nah, man.
you listen. This is like the second time within a calendar year, man. You moving.
And Rosa Parks is garbage.
I love Rosa Parks,
Of course you do.
and she's a woman.
Yeah, right.
But
It's just
yeah, Aquemini, I got that at 4. I got that at 4. Yeah, 4.5 mics. What you got? What you got it for?
boy. What else is there? AmeriKKKa's.
Okay,
I got
okay.
AmeriKKKa's. And the reason why I have that there is because, see, really, the thing about AmeriKKKa's and Cube, period,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be in a mood to listen to Cube.
This is
Especially
true.
this Cube. You gotta
This
be,
is
you
true.
gotta feel away, like, you know what, nah, throwing that Cube, I'm in this mood.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 that I got above this one, you can just listen to. You
Mhm.
just throw on, and it might put you in a mood.
Yeah.
But this one, you gotta be like, all right. It's like I don't know, what do normal people eat? Lasagna.
You
You
don't eat
gotta
lasagna?
Nah, I don't.
Come
I've
on.
never had a day in my life. But
Oh my gosh.
I would assume you're like, you know what? I feel like lasagna tonight. It's not one of
Mm-hmm.
those every night,
Oh
every
no,
day.
no doubt, no doubt.
But see, these other 3 above those is like pizza. Like, all right, well, you had pizza yesterday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are the pizza?
And
Like,
we have it today.
you just had French fries. I know. I would like a large order of French fries, please. But this one is like, all right, man. All right. You know what? I haven't heard it in a while. I'm feeling okay. All right, let me throw that on. So they got love to hate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we at.
I agree 1,000%. You hit the nail on the head. You do have to be in a mood to listen to Ice Cube. And I will say this: when I get in the mood, I normally will like run through his discography. Like it's nothing for me to get in the mood. I'll start with AmeriKKKa's and then go like the first 3 or 4 albums.
Now you've done many a sidebar when we
Mhm.
have these podcasts. Allow me a quick sidebar.
Go ahead.
Is Ice Cube? We agree. I think that we agree that Ice Cube is top 3 West Coast hip hop artists of all time. Yeah.
Hands down. Mhm.
Okay. Is he the most disappointed though? Didn't he fall off the worst? Like what I'm saying is,
I know exactly where you're going.
the nigga you love to hate, and we be clubbing.
Man, listen.
Like,
And
like,
it's funny you mentioned that because as I was, started the year, started
you
writing down
can do it. Put your back into it. Who made giving up the nappy duck out?
I mean, there was a shift, man. I think I was writing down that stuff I want to do as far as this year, as far as podcast, and I've done the big 3, and one of the podcasts I'm going to do is do the big 3 on Ice Cube, where we talk about the first 3 albums. I'm sorry, not big 3. We call it 3-peat. But yeah, if you look at his discography, yeah, those first 3 or 4 albums were really, really, really dope. And I don't know if it was Hollywood or what. I mean, like, shit changed, man. Like he went. I don't even. I love Cube too much to say he fell off, but it was just. You're right. I mean, like, and I think, did we talk about this? I can't remember if we talked about this on the air or off the air. We talked about like when you stop listening to somebody, and it might have been off air. We've had so many conversations, but I think for me it was Cube. I think it was Predator. I think by the time he got to Predator, I was like,
I think I was Lethal Injection, but the only thing that I didn't purchase and it was shit. I didn't even purchase AmeriKKKa's. I dubbed it.
Okay.
I dubbed it. But once Wicked came out,
Yeah, that was Predator.
That was Predator. And it was only because on Lethal Injection, I liked Bob Gunn and You Know How We
Mm-hmm.
Do It.
Mm-hmm.
What Can I Do? But then he
Yeah,
started
changed.
clubbing, man.
It
And once he uttered yay yay, it was over. It was a wrap. It was a wrap.
Man, listen, you are right. I have there's nothing I can say to change your mind. You're correct. It was for me, it was when I heard Wicked and I remember the video came out. I saw the video before I heard the song. I was like,
It's like
oh,
who's this?
I was like, wait a minute. This Jericho, this ain't Jericho Curl Cube. And it was just different, man. And I mean, like, even and you say you didn't I purchased all these albums we talk about.
Nah, I knew better. I knew
So
better.
the last one I purchased was Predator, and I was like, nah, I'm good. And it wasn't that it was a bad album, but it wasn't that good either. The good was good and the bad was bad. And I was done with Cube at that. And it wasn't like I stopped supporting him. I mean, I went to, see Friday, I went to see his movies and stuff like that, but I just
Yes, I don't think that there's anything that he could do to get me interested in an Ice Cube audio project.
Same. I'd agree 1,000%. I think he what was that, the war? No, it wasn't a war report. It
War
was
and Peace.
yeah, War and Peace. See, look at you. You know it. I don't even know
Nah,
the name
War
of
and
the
Peace volume 1 and 2, the War disc and the Peace disc, both shit.
I never got to it. I never got to it. So I can't. If you told me it was dope, I'd have to take your word because I never listened to him.
No,
I
because
checked out.
War and Peace, the Peace disc is the one that had Put Your Back Into It.
Nah, I was done. I was done. Put your back into it. We be clubbing.
Anything with yay yay.
I really wasn't even on West Side Connection like that.
Why would
to be
you?
honest? I mean, you know how it was. It was at that time, lines were kind of drawn in the sand, and it wasn't like I wasn't listening to West Coast cats, but I checked out on Q, man. So it wasn't like, and I thought West Side Connection they were pretty good, but I wasn't going to buy their albums. So yeah, man,
Yeah, sorry about that.
no. That is a perfect sidebar, man. That is perfect because so yeah, there will be a a three-peat on Ice Cube coming, but it'll deal with his first 3 albums. We won't have to worry about the yays.
Yeah, and speaking of first 3, I'm at my top 3. What about you?
Yeah, I'm at 3. I'm at 3 as well.
All right.
What you got for 3?
I got Life After Death.
Okay.
And the reason why I have Life After Death, I believe that it has aged better than I thought it would.
Facts.
And it might have aged better than Ready to Die.
I will agree with that as well.
Because that song, that album is you could throw it on, it has different flavors to it. It gives you different moods. Now listen, the songs that I hate aren't the same songs that most people hate. Like, I never want to hear Miss You. I'd rather listen to Another and Nasty Boy than Miss You. So yeah, so I'm good on the Miss You. And I think that it's not as bad as I once thought it to be. It's not great, but I do have it at 4. I gave it a 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave it a 4 because
moving up.
when I think about it, it's like, I can throw it on. This is one of those multi-purpose joints, and maybe it's because it's so long that you can throw it on when you're cleaning, you can throw it on when you're driving, you can throw it on when you're working, folding clothes. You'd be all right. You'd be all right. And so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that That makes sense. I like that. I like the way that you moved up to up to a 4. 3, I got De La Soul is Dead.
Mm.
Yeah, man, this album. Um man, this album, the thing that I love about it is that, and I've always said this about great albums, when you listen to it, you get something from it each time that you listen to it. So it might be something as simple as, oh, man, I never heard that snare before. Oh, well, I hear the snare now because I'm listening, with my earpods in. Oh, I never heard that, that kick or whatever. I never heard the piano in the background. Oh, I remember this skit. I remember the first time I heard this skit, I was riding down Irby Street in my hometown. Like this album always takes me back, or I'm always discovering something different about this album. But this is one of the joints, man. You never get tired of listening to it. And I think, and I said this before, and I'll say it again, you get somewhat disappointed because De La is always lumped in there with Tribe, and I don't think they ever got the props nationally at the time, like how now right now, at the time of this recording, 2022, De La Soul is beloved, and rightfully so. But
still not as much as
no,
Tribe.
no, and they should be. They should be. If you want to put as far as tiers, as far as like groups, hip hop groups, they're up there. And they should be, and they should be recognized. And this album, I don't know anybody who loves hip hop that don't like this album.
De La Soul is the most consistently dope group in hip hop history. De La Soul discography is the greatest discography for a hip hop group, period. When you find people that listen to hip hop and listen to De La Soul, if you have 20 people, you're going to get at least 4 different their favorite De La Soul albums.
Facts.
That is not going to happen with any other group. Usually it's going to be one of the other album. It's usually going to be like their first or the second album, whatever group it is. But then it's like, and it doesn't matter when you got into them. It's just, oh no, then I went back and I heard Stakes is High. Yeah, no, Stakes is High. Like, but Bionics, I know. But Grind Day, I know. And that we're not even talking about 3 Feet Are Dead. Nope. So and Balloon Mind State, speaking of tying it back into this show, Balloon Mind State was originally one of the ones that people was like, I don't know about. That got 4.5 in the source. So De La is on a whole nother thing. I think the Stigma of the first album got some people, and I don't
think the people knew what to expect.
But the people that didn't, nah, they got some shit. They got one stinker. They got one dead fish.
Yeah.
They got one.
That last album.
That is pure garbage.
And I don't even remember where. Did I listen to it? Because it's not on streaming. I think I listened to it online somewhere. I was like, what is this?
No, that is awful. And listen, you will probably not find a bigger De La Soul fan than me. But I will tell you to your face, that album is sewage.
But, in fairness, I mean, when you look at, when you talk about their discography, if you line up the list of albums that they had, and if it's been 10 or 11 albums and they only got one stinker, hey, pretty damn good odds.
Exactly. And we ain't even talking about the mixtapes together. But anyway, that's a good pick that you had there.
Okay.
So what that tells me is you really, really, really love the Blueprint.
So you're at 2.
De La Soul is Dead is my second one. That's why I talk so much about the De La Souls, because I have that at 2. And Oodles Voles, Peace Porch. I mean, Millie pulled a pistol.
Come on now.
Oh man, Biddy's in the BK.
He's in the BK.
This album has 2 songs in my top 50 story. Those 2.
Okay. Yep. This is true. This is true. Yeah, man. It still goes. It still goes. I got Blueprinted too. I'll be honest, I was kind of flip flopping between Blueprint and De La Soul is Dead. Um, I was trying to I was trying to find a reason to put it over Blueprint, but I remember how much I loved Blueprint when it came out. Um, Not a fan of Hola Jovito. Um, that song is awful. But the rest of the album, man, it's vintage Jay Z when Jay Z was dope.
Jigga that
Um,
nigga.
I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that. The hook is kind of it's, but I mean I'm the same dude that didn't like Ain't No, so
Renegade.
I mean, murdered him on his own shit.
Mm.
But yeah, it's 4.5. It's 4.5. I mean, the production was crazy. And that was the album that got Jay-Z, really where he needed to be. And lyrically he was there. He was there. They said that he created, I mean, we of course we'll never know, but they said he created the album in like 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, and it didn't write any of it.
All off the top of his head, man.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, so that leaves us at number one. We both have Illmatic at number one.
It's the only one that I have that has 5. How many mics you give Blueprint? 5?
Nah, it's 4.5.
So
So
what else did you give 5?
no, nothing else got 5.
Oh,
Gas got 4.5. De La got 4.5. Illmatic's the only 5.
Mm.
And I don't know, man. This album, I literally could talk all day about this album. I think it is when you listen to it, you're encapsulated and you go back to 1994. But it doesn't sound dated. Obviously the production, but Nas, what always is mind-boggling to me is that Nas is only a couple of years younger than me. I think he might be a year younger than me. And he wrote this when he was 19, 20 years old. And I know when I was 19, 20 years old, I wasn't even thinking about writing anything remotely close to this.
I was nice with it.
Yeah, you probably were. But no, I wasn't. Not like that. Even the little bit of poetry that I did write, it wasn't on that level. But yeah, this album is incredible. My only knock on the album, which I always say, is it's just too short, but it's perfect though. It's perfect. I mean, 39 minutes, in and out, in and out. No skips for me. It's not bad I can say about this album.
The problem with it being too short is that means when it's over, you just heard it.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it does have a replay value, it's still. But I just heard that song because the first track isn't even a track,
Right.
and so you go by the time you get there, it ain't hard to tell. You hit New York State of Mind, and you're like, I just heard New York State of Mind.
And I think I remember we were talking on Twitter one day, and I said, like, I think you had asked somebody, I think you had asked the timeline, like, if you were going on a road trip, a long road trip, what albums would you play? And I said Illmatic. You was like, well, shit, it's only 39 minutes. You gonna keep playing it?
I'm like, Jesus, you going to the store?
Yeah, you ain't even out of the county yet.
Yeah, nah. That's why I could. Yeah, that's why I couldn't pick that. You had to give me Life After Death or something. Cause
yeah, something that's longer. Right.
But when Illmatic came out, there'll never be anything like that because before it came out in the source, they said 5 mics. We haven't heard it yet, and it was when does it drop? It's dropped like 2 Tuesdays from when the source came out or something like that, and it was almost like it wasn't even everybody went and got it. It was Did you get it? Did you hear it? It was
Mhm.
like one of the, it was like movie. Yeah, I kind of want to see it. I'm gonna wait to see if somebody see it, see what they say. Because
Right.
nothing's been hyped up like that.
Nothing.
And then nothing's been hyped up like that and paid off. So it's like it was like Kevin Garnett coming out of high school. You like, yo. And then fucking what's your man that went to Portland?
Um
Um
it's
oh
on the tip of my tongue. Went to Portland. Sam Bowie?
no. The dude, it wasn't Cliff Robinson. Um so it was what was his name?
Now
It
you got me.
wasn't
Now you got me stumped.
yeah. What? Oh no, I got it. So it's like when you see Kevin Garnett go out of high school and start balling where he went to Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see Kobe Bryant come out of high school, go to Charlotte, then LA, and start balling. And you
Mm-hmm.
like these motherfuckers out of high school is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Then here comes Jermaine O'Neal,
Yeah. There you go.
and you like, oh, uh, so you don't know if you got Kobe or you got Jermaine O'Neal.
And Jermaine O'Neal wasn't bad, but he wasn't Kobe.
He wasn't good until
Yeah.
like 5-6 years in the league though,
Exactly.
and so
Exactly.
I remember at Illmatic though, I'm like it was otherworldly. I mean, it was like and to put it in perspective, imagine people that listen to Illmatic now after they hear old people talk about how dope it is, then they play it and
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay, because this is the nice guy that made the King's Disease, so that's him. That's what he did. All right, that sounds like him. But you gotta understand, only hearing halftime before this
Right.
or the barbecue, and then hear this album, and then get to the third track and like, then this other dude start rhyming better than all the stuff you ever heard before, and then these beats again, there is something to say for when we try to educate people on, hey, go back and listen to the stuff and understand and try to see where we're coming from, or look at the building blocks of hip hop or pop
Mm-hmm.
culture, whatever we're talking about. And you can go on YouTube and look at videos. You can go in your Spotify, your Apple Music, and listen to the songs and go back and find our old albums. And that is good. And that's what we want you to do. It is, we think it's essential. But
Mm-hmm.
there was nothing like being there for the first time. The
Man.
first, so when you hear that New York State of Mind track, when nothing like that existed before, it's just a little bit different than hearing it
Mm-hmm.
now. Like, oh no, that sounds like what's the name? No.
Right.
When you hear Sneaker Uzi on the island and my army jacket
Jacket
lining
lining.
for the first time, you're like, wait a minute, what, and the who what the what? Oh, come on, man.
Yeah,
Half
man.
man, half amazing. It's
Listen,
different. It is different
it's
when you hear it for
way
the first
different.
time.
It's way different. And it speaks, even what you're saying, it speaks volumes about, how nostalgic it was, but also just, when you listen to it now, like I said, you can transport yourself back to that time. And he's not kidding. There was nothing that sounded or felt like that back then. And, because of how things are now and, time and reality or whatever like that, it won't be. I mean, like, you'll never get that back. And I mean, I just remember, the rumors and man, they said this album is coming out by Nas, it's going to get 5 mics. And there were, death threats and bomb threats at the Source magazine. And it was so crazy that, again, as I mentioned at the top of the podcast, that one person could not just give a 5 mic rating. Once one person came and said, okay, hey, I want to give it a 5, then like they had to have a panel of the whole staff, and it had to be, everybody had to agree, okay, before we decide, because one person wasn't just going to give it a 5 and say, okay, hey, that's what it is. But You're right, man. It's timeless.
And look,
And
and with what you said, this goes back to my LL Cool J's the GOAT rule.
mhm,
When the Source gave it 5 mics, put it out, publicized the magazine, says 5 mics, and then it came out that nobody disagreed.
nope, not at all.
Nobody was like, oh, now before it come out, people were like, oh, 5 mics. Oh, so you saying that album better than my album? Wow, da da da. Then it came out, nothing. No
Nothing.
one said a damn word.
No, and no opposition whatsoever. And even to this day, like there's nobody who's gonna come out and be like, "Yo, man, I think the source was wrong." And what we've done is we've given you all 15 of the albums that the source has said are classic albums. And looking at this list, I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's somebody listening that could probably make an argument for about 14 of these not being on this list. But this one right here, can't do it. You can't do it.
Unless you change the definition of classic.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to say, oh, it was good and I remember it, well, sure. But if you're saying a perfect album where it's like, I can't poke a hole in this, then yeah, no.
Yeah. And I mean, again, listen to what we've said about these albums. Neither one of us could come up with a situation where we could give, even though like Aquemini, for example, it's my favorite Outkast album. I love that album. I play the album all the time. They gave it 5 mics. If it were up to me, would I have given it 5 mics? No. And it's okay. And it's okay. Now, my man here won't agree with me giving it 4.5. But the thing is that, that's just my perspective. But again, we just said, okay, hey, there's only one 5 mic album, and that's it. And the source, they tried. And I mean, like, I'm hoping that they didn't just give these mics away. But when I look at the bottom half of this list, they might have given some of these 5 mics away. But this one right here, you can't deny. I don't think you can deny.
Here's a spicy question before you close up shop.
Okay.
If the source didn't exist, never existed, and Illmatic dropped, what would you have said about that album? Because now, and I'm asking this as devil's advocate, saying, well, the source drop said that this dude is about to drop an album, and it's the best album we've ever reviewed. It's the best album. It's 5 mics. It's a classic. And then that could have put in your head, whoa. So when you hear it and you like it, yes, that means yes, it's a classic.
Right. I think I probably would have said the same. And the reason why I say this is because we didn't have the internet back then, right? So I didn't know. I heard rumblings. I think I had a friend that lived like a house down, and he had family in New York, and he said, he was like, yeah, my cousin said that this album is coming out and it's supposed to get 5 mics. And that was the only thing that I had heard. So I had the album before I actually read the review. So I didn't know that it had gotten 5 mics. I just know that I got it. And I bought the album, I want to say in like April or something like that. And okay, so it came out April 19th, 1994. And I want to say I got the source probably maybe a couple of weeks afterwards. So I didn't even have it. So to answer your question, yeah, I probably would have said the same thing because I wasn't influenced by it.
All right. Well, for people listening, I'm gonna say, and I've told this story on some show, my show, your show, somebody's show.
Problem.
I would have felt the same way because this is my Illmatic story. I didn't get Illmatic till May.
Oh.
I didn't hear it until May. I already heard Halftime a long time ago.
Right.
And I heard It Ain't Hard to Tell because they had a video. But my man, DeMarco,
shout out to DeMarco,
he got it, or he heard it, and I'll never let him live this down.
What did he say?
He came to me. He was like, yo, I heard that Illmatic heard the Nas. I was like, oh, for real? So like he's like, it's all right. You're like, it's not even really It's like it's okay, I guess. And I was like, damn, for real. So that's why I didn't get it to make, because I was like, well, ain't no reason for me to rush out and get it.
Did your man just told
My
you it
man
was
was
all right?
like, it was all right. So I was like, so it was on summer break, and I was chilling, and I was like, oh, shit, I had a couple of dollars in my pocket. I was listening to something, and I was like, I think I was reading through old source, and I was like, let me walk down and get Illmatic. I ain't doing shit. Ain't nothing else out. I walked down. I didn't have a Walkman at the time. I walked down to the joint, and it's like dumb. It's like 5 blocks. But when you're a kid, it's walking. Who cares?
Right. Yeah, you ain't think about that.
I walked down to get it. Walk all the way back home. Throw it in my joint. Like, Genesis. Like, all right. Then next thing, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay, well, maybe. All right, well, maybe it just hit, it hit real hard, and then okay, and and then that joint go off. Well, I'm already like, yo, and then Life's a Bitch comes on. I'm running around my bedroom like, what the fuck was he talking about?
Now you're looking at him sideways.
And then I got to the World Shorts. I was like, all right, man. And so I told him, I was done with the album. When I did the album, I think I walked over to his house. Was like, hey, yo, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, you about to lose a friend.
I was like, this is the best album I've ever heard. What are we talking about? Well, I only heard it once. I'm like, nah, I'm never listening to you again.
Nah, no, never, nor should you.
But yeah, that's my story. That's my story.
Oh man, that is crazy. That's funny, but it's like that, man.
So I was going in not thinking it was dope. So I wasn't brainwashed to thinking it was. I was told it wasn't that good.
And you know what, man? Even if you fast forwarded to today, it probably would have gotten a lot of hype and a lot of promotion, and we might have listened to it, in 2022, looking for reasons to knock it down. Like, what do you mean halftime? What the fuck is halftime? This ain't, because it would have been overhyped, but it wasn't. I think that was one of the beauties of, it coming out when it came out. But it's always funny, man, because here it is, somebody that you trusted, your man's, and he said it was all right. What if you never even checked it out? Because you was like, well, DeMarco said it's all right. I ain't gonna check it out.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Man, listen, this has been a great episode of us breaking down basically redefining and re-ranking the Source original 15 albums that got 5 mics. Before we get out of here, man, tell folks where they can find you, where they can find the podcast.
Eclectic Discussion Podcast, Encyclopedia Hip Hop Podcast, Eclectic Podcast, Instagram and Twitter, Encyclopedia HH, Instagram and Twitter. Listen to the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, go and listen to the old episodes of the podcast, because the podcast is the podcast.
For sure. Make sure you do that. Make sure that you subscribe to the 12 Kyle podcast. Remember, the podcast drops every Thursday at midnight. From time to time, we will be dropping bonus episodes on Sundays at midnight. That's going to do it for us. So for my Eclectic, I'm your boy, 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys next time. 5 Gs.
Rock.